Hello and welcome everyone to another Starcraft 2 England stream. And we've got another game from the LiquidHerO pack, and this is going to be a game between LiquidHerO and a player called Trauma. And I didn't actually know who Trauma was, so I had a quick look on Wikipedia, couldn't find anything there, so Starcraft 2 ranks it was, and the only kind of person who would meet the bill as far as I can tell is a Grandmaster player on the Korean server who's currently ranked 141 with a 52.37% win rate. So I assume that's who it is. So clearly he's a very good player and this should be a very good game. I have watched it through and it is great fun. So got a pylon coming down here, bit out of the way. I mean, might be to try and avoid scouting, not really any need to speculate too much into it, and just fairly standard opening from both players at the moment. So before we get started into the main game, I thought it might be worth pointing out, I believe one of my LiquidHerO versus Nest games actually was linked to by YouTube from one of Husky Starcraft's casts, and while it did my viewing ratings amazingly, I mean, I don't know what was going on there, but I mean, I hope anyone who did find my channel through that appreciates that I am nowhere near as experienced as Husky is. But I mean, give me a chance, hopefully I can get a bit better at it and eventually do some good casts. There's also been a video error at the start of all of my casts when I start up the recording where it kind of comes out blurry, and I've worked out what the problem is with that, and I think I've now fixed it, so that shouldn't occur anymore. And we've actually got barracks coming down here, which is out of the way, so we're going to have a 2-racks opening from Trauma, which won't get scouted, I don't think, but LiquidHerO will be able to get this probe into his main base. We'll have a look around. He'll see no gas, so he's probably going to start expecting something is a little out of the ordinary, but I don't think he has to worry too much at this stage. The probe is now trapped in, so it will stay alive until that first Marine comes out, so he will keep an eye on those gas, make sure really when the gas is taken, because if it doesn't come out soon, he's going to know there's going to be some kind of pressure or an early expand. So if we go over and have a look at Hero's base, he's getting out a Zealot, again fairly standard play. The Cybernetics core also on its way, 1 gas, so he's going to be getting Warp Gate out pretty quickly, I would assume. Again, this second barracks has now finished up, and for some reason he's rallied it up to the probe, which I'm not sure if that's a good move, because he's got some Marines coming out here, and to be honest, it just seems strange that he's going to give away that he does have that second barrack so early, but oh well, we'll wait and see what does happen. This probe now coming down just to scout, trying to find any sort of odd play, because he knows those 2 gases hadn't been taken, there'd be no gas taken, so he's probably 99% sure that there will be some kind of 2-racks opening, but he doesn't know where that barracks is. Now this SCV has been basically denied by the Zealot. There's also a Stalker out now, so I don't think Bunker will be able to go down. But obviously there are quite a lot of Marines coming out, and the Bunker is coming down the front, which basically shows that Trauma is probably going to be trying to take down an expansion pretty soon, definitely sooner rather than later. Now these Marines are on their way out, they're going to avoid this, but I mean, this should be held easily. That Stalker and Zealot won't be able to take out the Bunker. But because of this, they're very out of position for this little Marine push, and the Marine will get spotted by the Zelnagatar, but it'll be interesting to see what goes on, because this expansion is going down now, so Trauma will have a slight advantage in terms of when he gets his expo down, but the second gateway is on its way. Warp Gate research is about half done from the Cybernetics core, but it's still only on 2 gates, so there was a 1-gate expand build from LiquidHerO, which is very economical, means you get your expansion down very quickly. And these Marines are still going to be putting on some pressure, but there are 2 Stalkers there, so he does manage to get 1 probe, which in the grand scheme of things won't matter massively. But some of those Marines will die as well. There's a Zealot coming in, and I mean, these Marines are probably going to die pretty quickly. There's some reinforcements are on their way. The Zealot will go down, but not before a lot of losses from Marines. And I mean, it was probably a pretty equal trade, but neither player wants to engage too much at this stage of the game. Trauma's expansion is pretty much down now, so we'll probably see a transfer of SCVs pretty quickly. He has gone to get some gas, but from the gas he's getting a tech lab just now on this barrack, so we'll probably see either combat shield or stim come out fairly quickly. And that's because in TVP rather, there's always generally going to be a bio army because it's so much better than tanks, and generally you'll always see the Terran player go for Marines, Marauders and Medevacs because it works really well. So both players do have their natural expansion down now. Robotics Bay is on its way down now for LiquidHerO, so we'll probably see some Immortals out of that just because he seems to be going quite Stalker heavy, and obviously the counter to that is to get Marauders, and nothing beats Marauders better than Immortals. So we'll wait and see, but I would almost certainly expect to see after this Observer finishes some Immortals start being built. We've got some more gateways down now. I believe that puts us to 4 gates. So again, fairly standard. He can start putting in some extra pressure now, LiquidHerO, because he's got that warp gate research in. He's got a Stalker down here just checking around for anything else. He knows that there's nothing fishy going on now. Trauma's gone back into a very standard style, although it does look like he's going to move out, and this is quite a good time to move out. He's got Stim researching already, so Stim's coming down very early, and also a reactor on another one of the barracks. He has, I believe, finished concussive shell rather already, so that came out very early. Now concussive shell will make these engagements a lot better for Trauma. It will force LiquidHerO all the way back, but there are 2 sentries out now, so they can easily wall off the ramp. I mean, the next warp in is pretty much going to be coming soon, and by that point, I mean, Trauma will be able to push very nicely. I'm not sure if Trauma will go for it, because he could get some very nice force fields just like that, pick off a lot of Marines. That second warping is on its way. The Twilight Council is finishing up now, so we will probably see some upgrades coming in from that. Picking off the Marauders as quickly as possible because of the high amount of damage they will do to the Stalkers. And I mean, LiquidHerO has held this well, but I mean, he has taken a lot of losses, but so has Trauma. So if we actually take a quick look at the loss tab, they are pretty even. I mean, it's coming out slightly better for Trauma at the moment, but again, it'll all be told on later whether that makes a difference to this game. A Dark Shrine actually just coming out now for LiquidHerO, so we might see some DTs come in, which could be quite effective, although there is a missile turret just finishing up now at the front of the base, so unless he gets a War Prism to drop them into the main base, then they're not going to do very much. Again, another counter push coming in from LiquidHerO, although I think he will pull back just because this is a very defensive line. That bunker is going to hold off most damage very easily. Blink is being chrono boosted out, so you should see Blink out pretty quickly. And a War Prism is actually coming out, so we may get to see that DT drop in the main. +1 weapon infantry is being researched by the Terran player, which, again, getting nice early upgrades. I don't actually think there's even a Forge out yet for LiquidHerO. No, there isn't, so that means Trauma's going to have quite a nice upgrade advantage coming into the mid game, and he's getting the medevacs out now, which medevacs obviously greatly improve the efficiency of the Terran infantry army. Surprisingly, neither player is trying to actively expand. It's a very defensive game at the moment, but this factory is on its way out now just to go and have a scout, which basically insinuates there's going to be no factory tech coming out anytime soon. The first Immortal is actually on its way now, and I can hear a warping going on somewhere. He's warped in these Dark Templar, which is a great move because it means he can drop them straight out. And I mean, a scan could do a lot of damage here, but he will very shortly have enough energy, but not before a lot of damage is done to these SCVs. Quite a few kills going down already. So LiquidHerO has killed 10 workers already, going to get a supply depot as well, although there's a counter push coming in here, so this could do a lot of damage. I mean, those DTs are a heavy investment, but there is an Immortal out. That Immortal will do a lot of damage, and I think we'll force it back. I'm just trying to flip between 2 screens. These DTs are just going to be able to go to town, because there is very little army left, although there is enough energy left for a scan. Picking off a 3rd attempt by LiquidHerO there, which is great, just keeping him back on the 2 bases, which is really where you want Protoss to be. If you let them get their 3rd base up, you get a lot of problems, because it means they have the necessary income to go to Colossi Tech really easily, really ramp up their production, and that's not something you really want to have to face. And these Stalkers are going to try and chase this down, but I mean, Stim is done, there's a lot of medevacs out. I don't think it would be wise for LiquidHerO to go for an engagement now. He did manage to only lose 1 Dark Templar there, but there was a lot of missile turrets out now, but as long as he's careful with the movement, I mean, he could pick up... Oh no, there's another missile turret there, so he won't be able to do any damage from there. We'll get the supply depot down first though. will lose the Dark Templar, but it shouldn't matter too much. And it did supply block trauma, so that's quite a big hit. I mean, it only lasted a couple of seconds, but obviously any form of supply block completely stops any production going on by trauma, and even for a couple of seconds that can be quite a large impact. Now there is a probe sitting down here for LiquidHerO, so I'd imagine we're going to see a third base come down relatively quickly. But there's a big engagement going on now, some great force fields, picking off just a couple of Marines, and that was a very good offensive blink. Going to get a few more Marines still, and this is really good play by LiquidHerO. Not trying to go for too much, just kind of reduce the army as much as he can, slowly and steadily, while building up his own force and not taking losses. Third base is on its way as well, so that'll be a good advantage when it does come in, because the command center for trauma has only just started, and because of this observer, these stalkers can blink up, and that could possibly get sniped. Actually, there's very low defense, and that could very well be what's going to happen. And I mean, there is no units anyway. They are moving their way up, but that is almost certainly going to go down, and it does get cancelled. So that was good by trauma. At least it didn't lose too much, but it's delayed that third expansion an awful lot. That observer rather is going to go down, and that's a bit unfortunate, because obviously you need the detection as much as you can, but already LiquidHerO is starting to build a second one. Storm Tech is also on its way, and that's really a great way to deal with a Terran bio army, because Storm does so much damage, much more than medevacs can heal, and can very much weaken this bio ball down. And in a lot of the TVP games I've seen, the Protoss player does favour going for Storm, and that's just because of the high damage it does, and also gives you the option of morphing the High Templar into Archons later on if you need to. Now, they're very even on supply, actually bang on equal, but there is this third base down for LiquidHerO. And if we go to the income tab, that's, well, they're pretty even still, and that's really Mule's keeping all of that up. But once this ramps up, he's going to get the extra gas income he needs to really ramp up the Colossus production and also High Templar. So we've got 1-1 upgrades for the Protoss army. Meanwhile, we've also got 1-1 for the Terran army. However, 2-2 is on its way for LiquidHerO, whereas there's no more upgrades currently being researched for trauma. Now, there is a factory going down, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure what he's going to be doing with the factory. Maybe getting some Thors or something, but I don't know why he would. So we do have some stalkers coming in here, although there doesn't seem to be any high ground detection. Ah, there is actually. I do apologise for that. There is an observer, so he can blink these up. He can pick off the missile turrets anyway. You get that sensor tower down, but the whole army for trauma is moving back to deal with these stalkers, which may be an overreaction, but I mean, it suits LiquidHerO amazingly. It means he's just keeping that army back, allowing this third base to get very, very saturated, very, very set up and prepared for any kind of counter pressure. And meanwhile, trauma only just now taking his third base. He's pretty much mined out at his main. His natural also is getting quite low on minerals, so we will wait and see. There's a big movement here. I mean, this could be a big engagement. Depending on where these units go, it's a good position for trauma to engage, because with force fields it can be very effective due to the narrow choke point. There's a lot of units there for trauma, and wisely I think LiquidHerO has pulled back. He is waiting for those upgrades to finish. He should get +2 attack has finished, but +2 armor hasn't. And that was a great scan, allowing him to pick off an immortal, maybe a second immortal as well. And to be honest, taking out immortals is really paramount, because it means those marauders can stay up longer and get rid of all of the stalkers, although storms could come out any minute. And again, those force fields, I'm not sure they were needed. They were kind of expecting an engagement, but I mean, these ghosts are out, so we will see some EMPs go down. However, there's a lot of High Templar, and also Colossus are on its way now, so we should see some big storms, and really that's what LiquidHerO needs to do. At the moment he's just taking a lot of damage, and unless he gets those storms out, which he's decided to morph into an Archon, and I'm not sure that was the best move. I don't know why he did. I mean, those storms are brilliant though, doing incredible amounts of damage, but this could be a big push. I mean, LiquidHerO is going to have to do some good defense, and to be honest, that is exactly what he is doing. But that Colossus has now come out, and that could swing the tide of this battle if he keeps it safe, because obviously the splash damage from the Colossus will be absolutely huge, and LiquidHerO has managed to hold it, and that was pretty much all due to that Colossus. And now we are going to see this third get taken down, but obviously with 2 High Templar here, there can be 2 very big storms. but surprisingly there's only one cannon and it's right in the mineral line, so due to that, he's trying to move out to go and defend that third expansion. Will actually manage to pick off a lot of units, and this isn't great for Trauma right now. He's starting to get quite behind in the supply count. This has been dealt with, but I mean, he's lost the Nexus, so his third base has been denied, which means for the first time in this match, Trauma is going to be ahead in bases, which is pretty damn good. But I mean, this is a very small army by LiquidHerO. He have to keep some of these units back to defend this third base. And I mean, all while he's stuck on 2 bases, he's mined out his main, so he's really on 1 mining base right now. And that's never somewhere you want to be. Charge has now just started for the Zealots, which is very, very good upgrade. It means they can engage quickly, protect those Colossus better. There's also +3 attack just finishing up now, and +3 armor on its way just started. So this could go either way at the moment. It's giving LiquidHerO a very large upgrade advantage. I mean, he's a 3-2 compared to 1-1, so that upgrade advantage will play out. It'll make a very big difference to any engagement, and obviously with the 2 Colossus out, this could be going either way. But I don't see many Vikings out yet. There are 4 now, and that was a brilliant little drop there. That's going to do huge damage to this SCV line there. Unfortunately, it does go out. There was some nice snipes. And as we see now, another good attack going on, but LiquidHerO wisely just pulling back, not trying to do too much. He has dropped down a 4th base as well. His 3rd base only just finished. 2 High Templar here just to defend it from any pressure or pushes or drops, which I think is very good. And actually there hasn't been many drops going on from Trauma, and that's quite surprising. He's instead just keeping his army together, trying to deal with LiquidHerO head on, and the longer the game goes on, the worse idea that becomes, because obviously as Protoss builds up its commonly known Death Ball, those Colossus and Storms are going to be able to melt through this infantry army, and obviously there is such a massive armor upgrade bonus for LiquidHerO, although 2-2 has actually now just finished, so that has leveled it up slightly, but it's about to be 3-3 for LiquidHerO. No sign of 3-3 even starting yet for Trauma, so depending on what goes on, we'll see. Those Mordors are just going to try and poke him. One will go down. Might get a medevac as well, but there's a lot of Vikings out at the moment, so those Colossus can't really engage very much at the time being. Getting some more Immortals out, which I think is good, because Trauma has got a lot of Marauders in there, and he's gotten although he has cut back on the amount of Stalkers, he's gone very Zealot heavy, which is probably a good move. Doing a couple more Warp in. 3-3 just started now for Trauma, but it's going to be very late, and if LiquidHerO pushes before that 3-3 finishes, then the advantage will be his, and it'll be quite a considerable advantage as well. So for LiquidHerO's sake, I hope he does try and capitalise on that. And now obviously he is 1 base up, taking out these destructible rocks, which could give him a good angle of attack actually. Depending on how he chooses to use that, if he chooses to use that even, it could be quite effective, although the Terran army is now moving out, and this could be a very bad time, and it's a good little counter push by LiquidHerO there, taking out all of the bunkers, but this is a big army now moving in. Those Stalkers could go down, although it was a very good blink back, so that was a good little prod by LiquidHerO. Managed to do quite a nice little bit of damage, although the Terran army is now moving out. Obviously Trauma is approaching 200 of 200, and so is LiquidHerO, so we will probably see an engagement very quickly. Hero has got 3-3 now, and 3-3 for Trauma is about half done, so medevacs are loading up, so we might actually see a drop down into the 4th, and I believe that would be very effective. I mean, if we take a look down at the 4th, he has got some cannons coming out, but with only 1 cannon there now and only 2 more on the way, and 4 Marauders, I mean, they could go down very, very quickly, and this could do a lot of damage, and the Protoss army is very, very out of position. It would take them a long time to get down there, and now this is just a good position. I mean, he has dropped some units on the low ground, and that's just in case there is a pushback, and he did manage to snipe a pylon, but it won't do anything. It won't supply block LiquidHerO or anything similar. And now there is 1 Stalker there, but the FCVs are bravely trying to kill this Stalker. It will take them an awfully long time, but there is a Marine and Marauder on their way, and we're looking like we're gearing up for a big engagement here by LiquidHerO. He's coming in with the Colossus on the high ground, which is good, but there's quite a few Vikings out, so he needs to target fire down those Vikings as quickly as possible to avoid losing any Colossus. But both players very, very nervously trying to poke forward, take that middle ground, which is essential. The Colossus are now doing huge damage. The Stalkers are focusing down the Vikings just as they need to be. One Colossus is going to go down, but I mean, at the moment, LiquidHerO isn't really looking too great here, and those Vikings are doing an awful lot of damage. Nothing else is going to go down though, so I suppose that's the saving grace. And 3-3 has now literally just finished 4 trauma, so they are level on upgrades again, which means LiquidHerO didn't actually manage to capitalise very well on that advantage he had. Now, blinking up onto the high ground, which would be good apart from the fact that the Vikings are giving protection. A great storm going down there, although one Colossus has gone down already and a second one is getting very low on HP. LiquidHerO storms are really turning the tide of this fight at the moment, morphing in an Archon, which should do a lot of damage. Now very slowly moving back, saving that Colossus, and the Archon is going to go down, so that's quite unfortunate. But again, it was a fairly even trade, and LiquidHerO with so many gateways is able to very quickly build up his army again, quicker than actually Trauma can. So depending on what happens next, I mean, both players are in a good position, both on 4 bases. It's a very, very even game at the moment. Upgrades are equal. Tech is actually pretty much equal as well. So I'm not quite sure what Trauma's going to do now, because obviously he needs to do something before LiquidHerO can remax completely. And we are going to see a drop come in. There's 2 High Templar and 2 Zealots. So that could do incredible damage to this mineral line, although there is a bunker there. Now there is going to be an engagement coming in. There's a lot of Archons and a Colossus as well. So they're very, very strong against this bio ball, but I mean, he's taking out the bunkers, and that's going to be good, because you don't really want to let those bunkers set up, because it means that the Terran player is going to hold the centre of the map very, very efficiently. And now this War Prism is going in, going to get off some storms. I don't think he's actually going to manage to kill anything, but that was a bit of a shame for LiquidHerO. I don't think he actually managed to kill any units at all. That Zealot will go down, although he is bringing the War Prism up, but we'll see that because of the missile turret and no base there, that it won't do anything else. The base has actually been moved up here, I believe. Again, another storm, and this will manage to kill nearly all of the SCVs, which is a very, very big loss for Trauma. Still both players just sitting around in the middle. A very good defensive position being set up by Trauma now, so LiquidHerO will have a hard time trying to push into that, though he is trying to take up his 5th base, which obviously the best thing he can do now, because I don't actually know if he did manage to scout that. No, he hasn't, so he doesn't actually know that the 5th base for Trauma is out yet. But again, both players are going to be pretty even. I mean, we haven't seen a transfer up of SCVs to that 5th base, and it's very underdefended. So actually looking at the supply tab, Trauma's suddenly got extremely behind, so that isn't great. There is an engagement going down now. Those bunkers are going to go down very quickly. Some great storms on their way in. And there's so many Archons, 3 Colossus. I mean, the Stalkers are focusing down the Vikings, which is surprising, because it is going to mean the Colossus will fall, although he is now trying to pick them off. The Viking count has gone down, and there's the GG from Trauma. So that was an absolutely brilliant game. It was very even all the way through, and I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe, leave any comments. Hopefully some of the issues with the quality of the cast should have improved due to changing the converter I used. But I mean, if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them. And again, I hope you enjoyed. Share with anyone who you might know is interested. And I hope to get some more casts up soon. Thank you and bye.